So I wanted to do this video on the Tar River drill for my buddy Albert. I've been doing a little bit of work on it here, putting tack welds in strategic locations on a lot of these bolts that tend to rattle loose over time. So I'll show you what I did here. I took all the weight we had on here off and took these thin sheet metal panels off to get access to all these coulters and the hardware. And where these U-bolts go around the square stock on the front, I tightened them all down first and put tack welds on all these to make sure they never rattle loose again. They do all have lock washers, but that has not been sufficient in our experience. So every one of these U-bolts on the whole coulter row there. I also did some of these larger 3-point bolts here that support the top link. Mostly the ones that are harder to get to. I didn't do the very top one because that's a nylon lock nut. We haven't had any issue with that, and I didn't want to melt the nylon out. But pretty much the whole front row of coulters there. And then I did a few spots on the back here. So where the double disc suspension arms mount, it's a bolt-on bracket. I went ahead and put tack welds on the bolts here that bolt this bracket on, because that, if you notice on the front of the double discs where the square stock is, they went ahead and welded that into the frame. There's no bolts here, so I figured those ones will never need to come loose. I did that on both sides. And then similarly, there's a bracket here that helps this drive wheel pivot and also holds the shaft for the sprocket on the chain drive. I went ahead and put tack welds on the bolts on either side of this because I figured that bracket will never be coming off. All the small stuff on the seed box I didn't touch with the welder. I did go through and, you can use a 3/8 impact and just a crescent wrench to get all this tightened again. So, but the stuff that's really hard to get to and the big stuff, I wanted to make sure it's not going to rattle loose on us. Hopefully this works for somebody else out there.